I've simplified a little bit in this picture in our final executable, where I claim that dynamic symbols has the A and B in main right here. In fact, if we look in more detail at the file, we'll see that the symbol table just says a particular symbol exists at this place and its name is recorded over in the dynamic string section. So if we actually want to walk through an ELF file and say list the locations of all the functions, we would have to also use the dyn string segment in order to get the names out. A similar thing happens when we want to print section names. So if we look at a header, so we looked at this ELF64E header structure before, and we didn't talk about it more at that point, but one of the fields in a header is the offset in the file to get to all the section headers. However many sections we have, they're all going to be in the same place at the file offset. They'll be in an array, one after the other. The ELF header also tells us how many section headers there are, so we know how long that array is. In that array, there's a reference. Each element of that array is going to be an ELF64S header, and each section then has a name, and then we have an offset in the file that tells us where the data is for that particular section, and we also have the predicted address where that content is going to be when the executable is actually run. And we also know how big that section is. So if we have loaded our ELF file into memory and cast that place in memory to an E header pointer, then the way we get to the array of section headers is we take that address where E header is, since it's the beginning of the file, think of it as a void star pointer. So when we do pointer arithmetic on void star, that's just like doing it on a char star. We're changing it by bytes, and we want to go sh off bytes from the start of that file to get to the array of section headers. Take the header port, go by the offset that corresponds to the file offset, which matches up with a memory offset, then we get to an array of section headers. We could then walk through this array using a regular for loop, and the number of elements in this section headers array is reported by the ELF header as ESHNum, right? This field of the header. For each of those headers then, so S headers I is a particular section header, we could get its name out. The name is not a string though. The name is a reference into the segment, which is the sh_tab segment. So we have to go find that segment based on its name, but there's a sort of catch-22 here. How can we find the section whose name is sh_tab if we need to go look for the names in sh_tab? And this catch-22 is avoided by this one extra field in the header, which says what is the index of the section string table. So the full code for printing out section names looks more like this. We get all of the section headers, and then we can go find a particular section header, the one at the address specified by sh_index. Right, that particular header has an offset into the file, which corresponds to an offset in memory, so that gets us to the strings that are for section headers. And then sh_name turns out to be an offset within that section to get to strings. So that's how we could print out all the section names, and let's use this code to improve our mini readelf. So I'm going to add this. After we print out what kind of file it is, we'll print out all the names of sections in the file. And we can try this out. By compiling mini readelf, C. And now I can use mini readelf on a.out. And you can see that some executable we built in the past has all of these sections in it, the same information that readelf prints for us. And we can apply mini readelf to itself. Right? And it prints out a very similar set of sections because they're both executables. On the other hand, if we look at, but we still have main.o sitting around, we see a much shorter set of sections. We don't see any dynamic string tables, for example, but we do still see a string table and a symbol table. So the point of this exercise was to demonstrate how you follow those offsets to get to different sections, how you find the data for a given section, and how you look up